this thing. So we're going to solve this on the calculator. Yeah, we're not going to graph it. We're actually going to solve it using matrices. We're going to enter these equations into a matrix and then press the right buttons, and the calculator is going to do all the solving for us. It's kind of nice. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the matrix menu on our calculator, which is above the X -1 button. It's the second option, so you got to hit second and then that X -1. Okay, now yours is probably blank. I have a matrix already made under that first option, so that's why it says 1 by 1 up there. Yours probably doesn't say that, and that's fine. Okay. But here, this first menu just gives you the different names. You can fill in all these different matrices all the way up to matrix J if you wanted. We're not going to use anything there yet. We'll come back to that later. If you go to the right, to that math menu, this is where you have all your different operations for matrices. So you can add them together. There's operations that simplify the matrices, do tons of different things. We'll come back to that. Also, we want to go over to edit, and we're just going to edit that very first matrix. So hit enter, as long as you've got that first one highlighted, hit enter. And so a matrix is kind of like a table. It just holds data, and you can add matrices together. You can switch rows around, you can add rows together. The nice thing is that they get rid of all your variables and they just work with the numbers. So it kind of makes them a little bit easier to work with, especially when you have really large systems. So for our matrix here, at the top, we need to enter the dimensions. The first number is going to be the number of rows. Number of rows is how many equations we have. So we have 3. Hit 3 and then enter, and it will give you some more rows in your matrix. And then the next number is the number of columns. We have 4 columns on this problem, 1 for each variable, X, Y, and Z, and then 1 for our solutions over on the other side. Okay, so 3 by 4 is what we want for our dimensions. Including the constants. All right, so then in the first row, we're going to enter the coefficients for our first equation. So no X's or Y's or Z's, just the numbers in front. So we have 1x, so 1 goes in that very first spot. So I hit 1 and then enter. It's going to move me over to the next spot, or I can enter 2 and enter, and then 6, and then 4. And then it's going to move me down to that next row, and so I can enter the next set of coefficients, -3, and 2, and -1, and -4. And if you accidentally hit the wrong number, like here I'm entering -5 on accident, I can just use my arrows and scroll over to that, and then just overwrite it with the correct number. Yeah, the last one is missing a Y value. So we'll enter 4 for X, and then we're going to enter 0 for Y, and then 2 for Z, and 16 for the answer. Make sure you still hit enter on that last one where the 16 goes. It doesn't move you to the next spot, but it does confirm that 16 is in that matrix. So from here, we're just going to hit a few more buttons, and we're going to get the answer. So we need to make sure that all the numbers in our matrix are correct. There's no work to show for this. You're going to go from this problem on the test to the answer. If that answer is wrong, I don't know if it's wrong because you just have no idea what you're doing and you're picking random numbers, or if you just missed a negative when you entered your coefficients, right? You could get very different answers from just missing a negative. So double check everything, triple check everything to make sure your numbers are correct. So it looks like I've got 4, -4 is 16. Okay, that looks good in that column. 6, -1, 2, 2, 2, 0, 1, -3, 4. Okay, I think I'm all good. Everybody have their numbers entered? Ready for the next step? Okay, so let's exit out of the matrix menu. We're gonna hit second and mode. Just gonna quit out of that. Take us back to the home screen. second mode. It always takes you to the home screen. So now we're going to go back to the matrix menu. And now you can see you should have dimensions in there next to matrix A, 3 by 4. That's just saying, okay, here's the dimensions of matrix A. There's some data in there, so you can quickly reference that. Now we're going to go over to math, and we're going to scroll down until we see RREF. RREF, not REF, 2 R's. RREF. That stands for row reduced echelon form. Row reduced echelon form. Yeah. We don't need to worry about what that means. For our purposes, it just means it's going to solve it for us. So that's nice. So you hit enter on that, takes us to the home screen, and then it wants a matrix. It needs to know what we're solving. So we're going to go back to the matrix menu, and we want to solve that very first one. So now we're staying on that names menu. We're selecting matrix A. It's going to put it on the home screen. Okay, it should look just like that. And then you hit enter. All right, so it gives us these equations. For that first row, all you have is a coefficient for x. There's no coefficient for y or z. So that's saying 1x is equal to 4.8. Okay, and then the next row, there's no x or z, just a y. So y is equal to 4.4. And the last one, z is equal to negative 1.6. There are the solutions.
If we were to get, like, if it gives us more than just one on each, is that maybe done it wrong?
Yeah, it wouldn't do that. Row reduced echelon form will always give you the ones in that diagonal, no matter what. So, yeah, and it's always going to go in order too. So the top one's going to be your first variable, and then second, and then third. So if you got different numbers in here, that means that you entered something wrong into the matrix. Yeah. So, but this is what I'm saying, right? Here's the question. Here are the answers. The only way to get from here to there is by typing those numbers correctly into your calculator. So just double check everything that goes in there. But there we go. It's solved for us. It's wonderful. Matrices are amazing. I'm in love with them. We're in a serious, committed relationship. Good thing I'm recording this lesson too. Get all these dumb jokes with that. All right, so I think that covers that. Any questions on that problem? Okay, I'm gonna stop this.